All right, what is up, my brothers? We got a requested topic today from a 27-year-old gentleman who's basically looking for permission to treat himself to a toy. In this case, it's a motorcycle. So let's hop straight into this and see what he's got to say. This is a guy that's actually been in my community for a couple of years now. I've done a few months of one-on-one coaching with him, so I am intimately familiar. So this will be a good one. So he says, good afternoon. At 27, I've accomplished some serious life goals and don't feel the same killer instinct that I used to. I don't know whether it's burnout or simply getting soft. What do you see happening here? You're a go-getter. I know you real well. So let's see what the rest of this is all about. I don't feel like you're a soft guy or a guy that can go soft, if I'm being honest. It's probably more towards burning yourself out. The question originates from whether or not to buy a motorcycle. I've been salivating for about a year now. The 2020 Ducati Panigale V2 in Ducati red. And so you guys know what this looks like. I've already pulled one up. This is the sexy machine right here. It is a fine piece of Italian equipment. I'll tell you right now, guys, as a motorcyclist myself in the past, I stopped riding when I was 30. I got my bike license when I was 17 or 18, I think it was actually. In fact, here's a picture from Silverstone. I think I was 23 at the time. Here's a Ducati 916. You guys that might be a little bit older will be familiar with Carl Fogarty, who is a world champion racing in the Superbike series. I don't have a lot of printed pictures around my house, but that's just one of them. So I can definitely echo this requester's sentiment on the ask and the dilemma that represents itself here. I have no reason to buy this beast other than raw sex appeal. Totally get it. I feel you, brother. Buying the Panigale, I'm totally pronouncing it wrong, is a definite hell yeah on purely emotional level. On top of that, I'll be moving to a destination city with a cushy, well-paying, low-stress job that I earned through producing top-tier results. Other life goals I've accomplished are graduating with a job that I earned through producing, top-tier results, with an electrical engineering degree. Awesome. From one of the most elite schools in the U.S., traveling around the world for work and enduring some of the hard times with real friends along the way. Overall, buying the bike represents a chance to relax, have fun, and not stay so focused on the future during this uniquely mellow time. This is called rewarding ourselves, my brother. Let's keep going. On the other hand, I feel a nagging guilt about buying the bike despite being able to afford it in cash multiple times over. My gut says to dedicate my time and money 100% to real estate, other investments, and self-improvement. This is probably because I watched my father get physically and financially zeroed out as a kid. He was laid off during the '08 financial crisis and resulting him in barely surviving the stress-induced stroke, costing him the use of his left side and ability to work. His misfortune motivates me to keep my finances straight and always be ready for the future, though being the absolute best at my job. I'm also transitioning to a new career in 3 years and must begin work on my professional certifications. My working life the last few years has been very demanding and stressful, with my superiors sending me to this easy job because I perform well and earn my rest. Okay. To get here, I've sacrificed a social life, relationships, and some physical goals. I definitely feel burnt out for it. Part of me wants to use this time to set myself up for an ideal future. Another part wants me to rest and recharge until I get my killer instincts back. I define my killer instinct as an unrelenting, borderline obsessive focus on one goal, in this case, financial freedom. All in all, I don't feel the same killer instinct, and I can't tell if it's because of burnout or getting soft. Do you think resting and finding another goal will bring it back? It is some personal weakness masquerading as burnout. Should I buy that stupid bike? Yes, you should, man. Right off the bat, I'm going to say yes, you should. And I'm going to tell you why. But you have a asterisk here that you've asked me not to read on the screen, but I do have to do the math because it breaks down your financial situation. So the bike costs 16 grand, and the amount of assets that he has, you didn't list the value of your rental property. It's appreciated between job and extracurricular. Okay. So I'm just going to estimate because I know where you live and I know where you're moving to. So where you're moving to is definitely motorcycle climate. So 16.5 divided by your total assets, I'm going to estimate with the value of your home. Yeah, you're talking like 3% or less even. Maybe even anything under 5% is probably the way that I would put this is if you're spending like less than 3% on a toy that makes you happy, it's something that brings joy to you, whether it's a motorcycle, a boat, a supercar, whatever the hell it is, I would pull the trigger. You're only young once. I'll be honest with you, I never got that Ducati. This was just a bike that I happened to come across when I was visiting my folks in England. My dad took us to Silverstone. I saw this 916 in the parking lot, and boom, there I was. With my fanny pack and all. That's when I used to ride a red GSXR 750. So the red and white fanny pack kind of matched that. Of course, you had to put your wallet and all your stuff somewhere. But yeah, if I'm being honest, I regret not buying the Ducati for myself. By the age of about 30, what I found with super bikes, and I never rode the bike that you're on right now, which is more of an upright sort of cruiser, a lot less power, probably more comfortable, less wind, fairing protection, so you're not going to go quite as fast on it. But what I found is by the time I hit 30 on riding sport bikes it was about 13 years, and I rode them a lot. I put probably, I'm going to say 15,000 kilometers on the bike, maybe 20,000 kilometers a year per year. So I was doing a lot of riding. And when you're hunched over and you're crouched down and you've got the pegs up high and you're a tall guy like me, I think you're actually a little bit taller than me, and your legs get kind of cramped up, your hips cramp, especially when you're accelerating hard and it gets really tight in that area. You're going to find your ability to enjoy this stuff as you get older is going to deteriorate. So by the time I was 30, it was like, okay, I'm like, friends were either getting hurt or they would stop riding. Maybe there was one guy, his brother died. I started to see the writing on the wall, and I was like, okay, I've been riding for 13 years, no accident. My number will come up at some point. I'm not saying that I've given up motorcycling. I may pull another bike in at some point, maybe more like a muscle bike, like a V-Rod or something like that. But yeah, for me at the time, I just didn't have that much joy after about the age of 30. I know you've got a copy of my book, and some of you guys may not have it yet, but I dedicated an entire chapter in the Unplugged Alpha to the idea of why you need to get a motorcycle as a guy at some point. In my view anyway, you can skip it, but it's a form of therapy for men. I'm sure that you're starting to feel that therapy with what you have right now and the sort of fun that you can have with it and the opportunities it opens up for you. They're just such tremendous value and fun. And I know where you're moving to, they're a lot more popular. So I think that because they're more popular and you can ride them year round, it's probably a safer place to ride with them. The weather's great pretty much all the year, and people expect to see bikes, year round there. So your head still needs to be on a swivel, but in my opinion, it's probably a safer environment. I've ridden in that state before many times, so I would definitely say that it is a safer environment over places where it's like the bikes get stored for 6 months, and then by the time spring comes around, people aren't used to seeing bikes and they're not paying attention to fast little, things zipping around in and out of traffic. So yeah, long story short, treat yourself, bro. You've done a lot of hard work. I don't think you're getting soft. What was the other part that you opened up with towards the top where you're talking about maybe I'm getting soft or what's happening here? Burnout. I think it's burnout. You've been going at like 9,000 RPM for a long time, hustling yourself in your career, getting the promotions, getting the recognition that you deserve, doing the work, dealing with real estate, dealing with things tied into real estate. You've already acquired real estate. And you're still a young guy, and you've actually accumulated a decent amount of net worth for yourself. So my view is go treat yourself. You don't want to look back on parts of your life and say, I wish I could have, should have done that. You're really not in a position where this is even going to take a dent out of your net worth. And even if you buy the bike and you ride it for a year or two and it depreciates from 16 grand down to 12 grand or something like that, what's the big deal? You lost 4 grand, big whoop-de-doo. The amount of fun that you can account for with the $4,000 depreciation and all the fun that you had with it. And the other thing that really happens truthfully with bikes as well is there's a large community around them. And when you start riding higher end bikes, and this is the same thing with cars too, I noticed that once I started moving into supercars and I got the R8, it opens opportunities to hang around with other guys that make more money. And you can get into higher level social circles. So it does have other payoffs beyond just it's a sexy bike and I want to ride it and wheelie down the road and throw girls in the back and have fun sort of thing. It's got a lot more dividends to pay off than that. Just be super careful. It's a wicked fast bike. I can't even imagine how fast that bike is at this time. They're probably like well over 200 horsepower. And when I was riding sport bikes, I think my bike had, I don't know, maybe 170. So, and they've gotten a lot lighter too. So just be careful, have fun with it. Enjoy it. Enjoy yourself, bro. I mean, life is short. Like you notice your dad in the 2008 crisis had a stress-induced stroke and basically lost, the use of half of his body. Let's say that happens to one of us when we're 40 or 50 or something like that. Then you get to look back on it, you think, I wish I would have bought that Ducati. I wish I would have kind of taken that trip. I wish I would have taken that opportunity, but I didn't because, insert reason. Like I always say, guys like to complicate their lives and then justify why they're doing it. I think you're overthinking this one and unnecessarily complicating your life on it. Have fun. That's my take on it. Guys, leave a comment below. What do you think? Have you ever been in this boat, the situation where you're like, I want to buy this toy, but I don't see the use case for it. Take a closer look at it. And I'd invite you to leave a comment below and let this requester know what your thoughts are if you've ever been in the same position or if you're a more seasoned guy and you can offer some feedback. Pinned in the top comment, check it out. There's a link to my book, links if you want to book me for coaching, join my men's community, request a video, books that I recommend, all that stuff. Again, pinned in the top comment. We'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, yeah? And smash the thumbs up button. Helps me out a ton with the algorithm. See you guys later. Peace out.